Hi, this is David Roberts with Roberts Business Services, and today's video is going to take a look at the differences between QuickBooks Online, which you see over here, and QuickBooks Desktop. As you can see, we're at the home screen of both editions here, and the desktop is very thorough with its flowchart and division from vendors, customers, and employees to the company information and banking, whereas QuickBooks Online has all of the or most of the same stuff that the desktop does, but over here in a sidebar menu. So there is no flowchart within the QuickBooks Online experience. There are some things that QuickBooks Desktop does that QuickBooks Online cannot do. Some of those things you probably don't use. For instance, unit of measure, which is if you receive a box of 24 candy bars but you sell them individually, you have to be able to account for that and the difference, and the only one that will do that is the QuickBooks Desktop one or an enterprise version of QuickBooks. But let's take a look at some of the other differences here. We'll look at the customers in the desktop and in the online. Now, as you can see, the side menu bar does not go away, but it lists all of the customers and their balances here, and the desktop version has it like this. Now, the desktop version will give you a full view of each customer and the transactions that involve those customers right on the main screen. In the online version, you have to actually click on the customer to see that information. It depends on your likes and dislikes, but I prefer to have all the information here so that if I want to see what Rafal is doing, he's doing nothing, or Sonia Bristol, I can see all of that. In this system, I still have to click on it in the desktop, and I still have to click on it in the online. So it's not that much of a difference, but I do like seeing this information here without having to search for which transaction it is that I'm looking for. Vendors, it's the same thing. The vendors is listed in the same way on the online version as the customers are. And again, vendors on the desktop version, same as the customers on the desktop version. So these differences aren't enough to make me say never use this this one versus that one. But in navigating around and in doing certain things on QuickBooks Online, there's a different way to do it. Remember in the first video that I showed you about navigating QuickBooks, this would be the top menu bar, or if you prefer to pull out this side menu bar, you'll see it looks kind of the same as this with some additional options on it. We'll get rid of that for right now. But if you wanted to say, for example, reconcile a bank account, you're going to find it over here in what's called the gear wheel. And you'll see some of the things that you can do here. Your lists are here. These are the main ones that you'll be using, and you can see all of them here. We're going to have to spread that screen out a little bit so that you can see more. The accountant settings are here on the online versus being here in Find or Preferences. QuickBooks Labs is a online thing that'll let you kind of see what you can play with. They have different updates to QuickBooks Online, and what they do with them is they allow you to try them out to see how you like them, add them to your QuickBooks Online if you do, and forget it if you don't. So these are all of the ones that right now are being tried out. With QuickBooks Online, changes to the program come faster because they're always trying something new, and A lot of it is stuff that's suggested by the people that use QuickBooks Online. So if you ever want to make a suggestion, you can send them a little note with the feedback button and say, hey, I would like to be able to do this on QuickBooks Online. And if they get a lot of people asking for it, they do what they can to make that happen. Now, as far as importing your desktop data into QuickBooks Online, that's going to be a whole separate video because there are issues that you have to be aware of. The number one being this: your QuickBooks desktop file has to be 100% accurate, because fixing mistakes in QuickBooks Online versus fixing mistakes in QuickBooks Desktop is not easy, and takes a lot more time than fixing mistakes in QuickBooks Desktop. Managing users, you can have more than one user in QuickBooks Online, just as you can have more than one user in Desktop. You can create custom form styles if you're printing your sales receipts or invoices. You can put your logo on it, things of that nature. You can reconcile, you can create budgets, you can have an audit log so that if you have more than one person accessing your QuickBooks Online, you can see when they got on, what they did, and how long it took them. And that is the gear wheel for QuickBooks Online. Now, if you want to add something different, you click on this plus. What do you want to add? You want to add an invoice? Do you want to add a received payment, an estimate, credit memo? It separates it by customers, vendors, employees, and other, so that you can make that decision, what you're trying to add. But remember, add something, you will click on the plus sign, and changing the main parts of QuickBooks, the lists, the account settings, all of that kind of thing is the gear wheel. Now, if you ever need to send an invitation to your accountant to take a look at your QuickBooks Online, you click here on Manage Users. Now, this is a sample file, so it's not going to go fully through the process. But what you do is you click on this button here, Invite Accountant, and then put that accountant's email in here so that they can be able to access your file. They won't be able to do anything without your permission. So corrections to mistakes, things of that nature, they're not going to be able to take money out of your account. Okay. And since this is a sample file, it's not going to go through the whole process, but it's very easy. Just click on Invite Accountant and then send it to his email, and he'll be able, or she will be able to open it up for you. Attachments are the documents that you've scanned, receipts, and such forth. You can assign them per customer or vendor or employee if you choose to. So the W-4s that they fill out for employees, you can put a scanned copy of that here, and that way you can have a backup of all of those paper files in case something happens to your office or something of that nature. But it's always helpful to have those. And that's the main differences here. This you're not going to really have because this is on the accountant's version. This allows me to go into another client's file, so you don't have to worry about seeing that. But go down to reports here, and you can see all of the main reports that you use. QuickBooks Online does not have the same number of reports that QuickBooks Desktop does, but they do have a lot of them. And this is where you set up your sales tax. So again, it's more of a preference. QuickBooks Online, the pluses are that you can get updated patches if there are any problems with it on a regular basis. You can have the latest version of QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks every day because there are several changes that they make to it. The negatives are there are just some things that QuickBooks Online cannot do. Sometimes you don't want to deal with accessing your QuickBooks file when you go on vacation, and that's fine. I don't blame you. But QuickBooks Online versus desktop, it's really your choice. QuickBooks Desktop, you pay once, and the software is yours. If you don't have any third-party add-ons there like payroll or merchant services, that version of QuickBooks will serve you well until you want to update. However, if you are using payroll or merchant services or any of the other applications with QuickBooks, you need to update every 3 years. QuickBooks Online, there are several versions of it, as there are several versions of QuickBooks Desktop. Both, even the simplest, cheapest QuickBooks has payroll that is available to you. So, excuse me. That's basically the differences between desktop and online, and that's it. Thank you for joining me for this video, and if you have any questions, just simply send an email to the email that's on your screen now, or give me a call at the phone number that's on the screen now. Thank you.